Hey everyone, thank you for joining my channel. Hopefully you're having a great day today. Today's Wednesday, today's Thursday. I hope you're having a great Thursday. Hopefully you're having a great beginning to 2025. And let me just start off by saying this. This year is going to be the year that this world takes off, and this is going to be the transformative year where everything changes in human history. And what I mean by that is darkness is now being eliminated from this planet. Light is coming in. And I just want to first say, if you like this video, please hit the like, share, subscribe button below. If you want to donate, there's a description box with a donation link there. If you're interested in donating, I greatly appreciate it. And yeah, let's get started. Like I said, this is going to be a tremendous year, everyone. And the video that I'm putting out right now, that I'm going to put on, I think, my two different channels, which are Walking in the Light and Spiritual Awakening with Ryan Nolan. Those two different channels I'm going to put on YouTube this video. And this video is all about talking about the fact that we are now moving into a higher existence, a higher realm of existence. And we are now watching darkness on this planet be eradicated because more light is coming onto this planet. But because of this, we really have to be aware of the fact that darkness is going to be very desperate, and they're going to be sending a lot of low vibrational projections of fear in the world. And it's really important that we shield ourselves in our faith in Jesus Christ, because the devil knows that his time on this planet is over. And what do evil entities do when they know that their time is up? We all know that misery loves company, right? So they're going to try to bring as many souls as they can with them to hell, because they know they're going to be spending all of the eternity there, and they want to bring as many human souls as they possibly can. And another thing I want to mention too is that hell is a real place. A lot of people don't like talking about it, but I feel like it's extremely important to talk about it, because people need to understand what choice they're making when they sin, what choice they're making when they don't put their faith in God, and they think that they can simply, make their way to heaven through what they do when it comes to donations and charity and all those other things. The self-righteousness that comes into play when people live like that is something that God is not going to gravitate towards. And it talks about that in James chapter 4, verse 6. God resisteth the proud, but giveth grace unto the humble. And what that means is that the only way you can really make it to heaven is through God's grace. And the only way that God will show grace is through your faith in Jesus Christ. There's only one way to heaven. And it's so important for us right now to understand that the world that we're living in right now is an illusion. The fallen world that we live in right now, before the transition to the positive light that I'm talking about, is an illusion. And that's the topic I wanted to talk about today, was how everything that you see right now in this world is designed to keep keep your vibrational frequency low, so that you don't question how things are, why they are the way that they are, and so that you don't see the positive sides of yourself, and you stop believing in yourself, and you start worrying about just surviving. See, the thing is, when you're worrying about war, when you worry about, pandemics, viruses, and all the things that we've been worrying about, especially recently in the last 3 or 4 years, you get put into that fight or flight survival mode, right? You get put in that instinct of primal instinct, where you have to fight or fly. And that's the position that the devil wants to put people in, is that fight or flight position, where they have to feel like they can't really think outside the box. They can't use their creativity. They can't think of other ways that the world should be outside of the way that it is right now. People start losing their creativity. People stop thinking about their dreams. People stop thinking about how maybe they could do something that's never been done before, how maybe they can invent something that's never been invented before. And that's why I wanted to put this video out there, is to let people know that there's a consciousness within us that's always reflected by the world, because the world is a reflection of our consciousness, and our consciousness is the energy within us, and that's being projected out into the world, and it's being reflected from the world back to us at every moment in time. So every moment in time, you're seeing your own energy. Even if you're having an argument with somebody, even if you have a time where you're really upset with somebody, that moment in time is simply a reflection of your own energy, which means that you can let go of the outcome of any situation you find yourself in. And you can even go to the most extreme situations. And I've thought about this too, like if someone passes away in your life that you felt like maybe you think that you maybe weren't on the right terms with that person, or whatever the case might be, and it leaves a sour feeling in your stomach, and you feel like you wish things were different between you and that person. If you know that that person is just a reflection of you that passed away, in other words, it's another version of you that died, the feeling of regret, the feeling of whatever the feelings that might overcome you when it comes to that conflict with that person, those subside, right? Because you know that that person was simply another version of yourself. And you can extrapolate that into any situation within the universe or this world on this planet. Whenever you have any situation that you're going through that's difficult or challenging, if you know what you're experiencing is only a reflection of your own energy, the feeling of having to control it, the feeling of that you need to be in control for things to work out, that all is relieved. That's all relinquished in the moment that you accept everything as yourself. And when you do that, you receive the higher vibrational energies because you're no longer constricting your consciousness. See, that's the thing. Every time we go through a situation where we feel like things should be different, that we got to control something or whatever it is, that we feel like it should be different than what's happening right now, we're constricting our consciousness and we're not allowing the high vibrational energies that are available within Jesus Christ consciousness to fuel and invoke within our consciousness a higher vibrational reality. So it's so important right now to understand that this entire world is an illusion based on the fact that we don't understand this fundamental truth that I just explained. We believe that we're our body. And in doing so, you cut yourself off from your experience, from the world, from the other people that you're dealing with. And everything seems separate from you because you feel like your body is separate to the world and that you have to compete or compare or contrast, whatever it might be, with the world or with the people that you're interacting with. In reality, those people, those background environments that you find yourself in, that's just energy being reflected back to you at that moment in time, and there's nothing to worry about. So the fallen world that we live in right now is based on the fact that we're living in an absolute illusion in this fallen world because we don't realize what I just explained. We don't realize as a human population, as a race of billions of souls on planet Earth right now. I'll say this first. We haven't realized up until now that we're going through a spiritual awakening on planet Earth, and now that we have something so excited, we have such a reason to be excited, we have such a reason to celebrate. But prior to this transition period of time that we're going through, in years past and up until now, we've always felt like we were just our body, and we are simply in our ego in that moment in time. And what happens is we restrict our consciousness within us when we do this, when we think we're just our body, and we relegate and restrict our consciousness to receive only the lower vibrational energies of our consciousness, like control, greed, and all these other things. And what happens when we constrict our consciousness and we project greed and the lower vibrational energies of consciousness is the world now reflects that back to us. And so what ends up happening, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. We don't live in truth. We feel like, oh my goodness, this world's crazy because I see all these crazy things in the world, but I don't realize that it's me that's creating it, right? When I don't live in truth, I don't realize that I'm creating the chaos that's going on in my life. And I see the chaos and it makes me feel like I got to control my environment more, right? Because I'm digging myself a deeper hole. The more you dig with unfaithfulness, the more you dig in the ground and go down the rabbit hole of unfaithfulness, the more the world is going to reflect back to you just how much more control you need. The pandemic is a perfect example of that. COVID was a perfect example of that. We went so far down the rabbit hole of giving away our light, our energy, and our essence to the enemy because we felt like we weren't because we didn't believe that we were truly everything that there is. But because we were giving away our light and our energy. And that was then being reflected back by the devil, creating a world that seems so scary personally to every individual person, right? But like I said before, nothing personal is ever happening to you. You're just watching you're watching your own energy. But if you don't understand that, if you're not living in faith, if you don't put your faith in Jesus and you don't believe in that, then you're going to fall susceptible to the belief that there's something to be scared of. And that energy that's going to be projected back to you once again is going to be low vibration, and it's going to repeat that self-fulfilling prophecy of continuing to go down the rabbit hole of thinking, I got to control my environment. I got to control more and more of what's going on in my life. Things are getting out of control, and it just builds and builds, right? And this all happens for one fundamental reason, that people don't think about enough, and that is we're all one consciousness, which means that if we're all one consciousness, and I think when people talk about this, they believe it. When I talk to people out and I go out and I talk to people about the fact that we're one consciousness, very few people say no. I believe there's two consciousnesses, that we're all interconnected with two consciousnesses or more than that. People normally agree with that because I think it's fundamentally logical, and it makes sense, and it's something that people feel within their soul that it's true, and it makes us feel connected to everyone. And I think that sense of connectedness is the sense of connectedness that loses its power when we think one way but we act another. So when we believe that there's a one consciousness and we understand that we're all connected as one and that there's nothing to worry about, and that because we're one consciousness, the one consciousness that is viewing my video right now is all that there is. And we're all the same consciousness. We're all the same energy. That means that there's nothing outside of you and there's nothing outside of me, that we're all the same. Think about this. So we're all the same. We're all the same consciousness. We're all the same energy, having different, different experiences through our lives based on our faith that everything that we experience is us. But the world that we live in right now is the exact opposite of everything that I just explained, right? Most people would agree that we're one consciousness. Just like I said, I go out and I talk to people all the day, a lot of people. Nobody ever disagrees with it. But if that's true, that means there's nothing outside of you and there's nothing outside of me. And if that's true, which it is because we believe that one consciousness is true and that's real, that we're all connected as one, that means there's nothing to worry about. Why would I be worried about being judged by someone else if the consciousness that I'm worrying about being judged by is the same consciousness as myself? Think about that. There's no reason to worry about anything. So the fallen world that we live in right now is based on an illusion, because the illusion is this: the devil uses the energy that we give away at every moment in time where we don't believe that we are everything that we experience, and we start becoming fearful of our energy that is simply us at every moment in time. And we get fearful of it because we forget that it's our energy. We think it's someone else that's upset with us. We think it's someone else telling us how we should take care of our bodies. We take the recommendation of a doctor saying a certain thing to us in a negative way because we don't realize they're just relaying our own energy back to us at some point in time that we used to feel about ourselves. But when we lose sight of that, we may take that advice from the doctor or whoever it is, whatever situation we might be in a negative way, and that reduces our consciousness level. So the devil uses our light when we don't understand the truth and turns it around and sends it back towards us in a way that makes us feel like everything is so personal, that we got to take everything personally, that we got to worry about everything, that we got to take control into our own hands, and we got to do things for ourselves because something bad might happen to us, and we get into that flight or fight mentality that the devil wants to put you in, to feel like something terrible is going to happen if you don't change something. And that's the world we've been living in for thousands of years. But now is the time that we rebuke that illusion through our faith in Jesus Christ, through the evolution of our spirit, and through the elevation of our consciousness. Because we have broken through in the spiritual awakening that we're going through on planet Earth right now in 2025. We are breaking through the lower vibrational energies, and we are accepting the truth that we are everything that we experience as individual souls. More individual souls are doing this on planet Earth, which makes it more available for other souls to receive the energy, the positive energy that, as one awakened soul receives more positive energy from their awakening and realizing that they're everything that they experience, there's nothing to worry about. They receive higher vibrational frequencies of Jesus Christ. And then that energy is now available to other human beings throughout the world. So geographic location has nothing to do with it. Why? Because we are energy. We're all energy. Everyone is the same energy. Everyone is the same soul. So if one soul awakens, that means because of the interconnectedness that we connect with all other souls around the planet will have that same ability to lift themselves up in their faith in Jesus Christ, and they will be compelled and they will be catapulted higher and higher into elevated states of consciousness. And when that happens, you make things mean less because you're starting to walk in truth more. You're starting to live in truth more because you understand that the reflection that you see at every moment in time is your own energy. And you start understanding this at the most fundamental level. And before you know it, you wake up every morning peaceful, stress-free, worry-free, because you realize there's nothing to be stressed about. I'm just going to continue to observe more of myself. And even if something supposedly catastrophic to someone else takes place in your life, you look at it in a different lens because you see it for what it is. You know it's just your own energy. And when you do this, you start elevating more and more. And next thing you know, all of the problems and conflicts that seem so insurmountable in your life, that just seem to reoccur over and over again, that never change, those things break off from you. And that's what Jesus talks about when he says he can cut the cords from the past and the present moment through your faith in him, because through your consciousness, through your energy, that you are everything that you experience and there's nothing to worry about, you now receive the higher vibrational energies that make you feel more positive about yourself. Your body feels better. Your mental state is more clear. You're not thinking about things in the future. Why? Because the only thing that matters is right now. The future there's no such thing as the future or the past. Time is an illusion. And I talked about this in other videos. The only thing that's happening is right now. And every moment in time, you're only looking at yourself. At every moment in time, you're learning more about who you really are. And the more that you adjust your mental thinking through your faith in Jesus Christ, from having to prove yourself to the world to now accepting the world, which is yourself, accepting yourself as it is, now you're going to look at the life in a different lens, not from one of trying to compare, compete, or to outdo something, or to prove someone or to prove yourself right or another person wrong. You're going to utilize life the way that God intended for his children to see life. And that is to learn more about who you are. And as you do this through acceptance at every moment in time, you receive those high vibrational thoughts, the high vibrational feelings, those high vibrational inventiveness and creativity that once was dormant within your soul. That creativity starts coming out, and you start doing things that in this society that we've lived in this fallen world, might say is a little bit out of the norm. But who cares, right? Because that is just a reflection of how you used to feel about yourself. Because you feel like the world's telling you that this is maybe a little bit out of normal for what it is that you're trying to be creative with, it's only a reflection of your own energy, of a way you used to feel about yourself. So in other words, at a point in time, you used to think that you weren't that creative, right? And we all have gone through those moments where we felt, oh, I'm not creative. I'm not creative. I could never start a new project. I can never do this or that that's new or different than what other people are doing. And that's being reflected by the world at that moment in time to you. It doesn't mean anything else other than you just have to accept it. And when you accept it, it doesn't affect you. And then you can still move forward with whatever creative project or endeavor that is that you want to move forward with. So, the main thing that I want to talk about today is just how everything is an illusion based on our unawareness of how the universe really works. And it creates darkness, and that darkness is used and leveraged against us. And here's the thing. The devil uses this light that we give away at every moment in time as human beings against us, but they need us. The evil, dark demons and devils on planet Earth harvest off our energy. They feed off of our energy. Without us, they wouldn't be able to survive on this earth. They are the ones creating fear so that they could survive and continue to do what they're doing to us, which is to create low vibrational energies of projections back to us after we give away our light. They send that, they feed off of our fear, and they send back fear towards us. And so in other words, they need our souls to manifest the fear that we see in our lives. And it's coming from these demons and devils and the devil on this planet that uses our light against us and sends it back as low projections of fear. And the only way to shield yourself from this is in the truth through your faith in Jesus Christ. And this is the moment in time where everything changes, because we are going through a spiritual awakening. But most importantly, get close to God right now. Get close to Jesus Christ, and make sure that you're prayed up, and make sure that you have given your life to the Lord. And it's really important that at this moment in time that we start using our creativity, our creativity and serving others to help build and expand the consciousness level of mankind. Because you got to understand, when you are more creative, when you are less rigid. And when you go out and you serve and you help the people that are less fortunate in however way that might be for you, you might just be for 5 or 10 minutes a week talking to somebody that you know needs help with something. Whatever it is, serving those that need help in your community that you have the ability to help helps expand the consciousness level of humanity. Why? Because it expands our faith. Why? Because when you serve and you help someone else, what you're indirectly saying is, I see myself in that person. And when you say that you see yourself in other people, you're living in more faith, you're living in more truth, because that other person is you. And that's what Jesus Christ died here on this planet for, was to show that we are in everyone else and everyone else is in us. We are the same soul. And the more that you serve, the more that you show your creativity, and the more that you stand up and speak your truth, the more you expand the faith and the consciousness level of humanity, and it combats the low vibrational energies that the devil wants to send our way. If we as a mass population of billions of souls on this planet decide finally to stand up against the tyranny and the oppression of our soul and use our God-given abilities and our faith to expand our consciousness and expand the light within us, there's no way they're going to be able to use that against us anymore, because we're not allowing them to turn our light into darkness. We're now overpowering the darkness through our faith, right? And that's exactly what we need to do right now as individuals. It's so important right now to understand too that one individual can make a huge impact on this planet. That you don't have to have a large group of people behind you to back you. You don't need to have a huge movement. You don't need to, have a bunch of activists with you or protesters with you in order to make a difference. Because like I said before, it is your consciousness and your individual raising of consciousness that can affect the entire world, because now other people have the ability to tap into the positive energy that you've tapped into with your elevated states of consciousness. So everyone else can affect everyone else. Why? Like I said before, because we're all one consciousness. We're all the same energy, and we're all interconnected within this energy. And that every thought, every feeling that you have is a thought or feeling that someone else can access through the one consciousness and the one consciousness that we're all connected within. And I also want to say one last thing before I end this video, is that the things that we've gone through for the past 4 years or more even, but more or less over the last 4 years when it comes to COVID and all of the political divisiveness that we've gone through, you can actually see the proof of the fact that we're all connected as one. I mean, how many people would have thought that after COVID was talked about, everyone was going to run to the toilet to go get toilet paper at the same exact time? I mean, it's got to sink in at some point that we're all sharing the same thoughts and feelings, right? The fact that we're all thinking the same things during the pandemic, and we're all doing the same things, and that we're all scared with the same thoughts and emotions, is because we're all sharing the same thoughts and emotions through the one consciousness. So I just wanted to say that because of what we've gone through over the last few years, it's an indicator, it's a confirmation that we are one consciousness, and yes, we are all related in the one consciousness or one energy, which should all give us hope that we can all, as individuals, help the collective make a change through our own individual contributions in our elevated states of consciousness. So with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. God bless you guys. Once again, stay prayed up, and just make sure that you're as close as you possibly can to be with Jesus. And I think more than anything, what God wants me to let you guys know right now is it's an extremely exciting time to be alive, because things are going to change on this planet. And the things that we thought were just hardwired into stone or just cemented into history of this is just the way life is, that you're supposed to struggle, that you're supposed to go through pain, that the political figures in our government are just supposed to be aloof and not care about us. All of these things that we just thought to be accepted as that's just the way life is, God is showing us that's not the way that life is, and he's going to prove it, and he's going to show you what's on the other side of that paradigm. God bless you guys. Stay prayed up. I'll talk to you guys soon.